Ever wondered how evolution works? Ever wondered how it relates? Ever wondered how organisms change? Well, get your Pokédex and Pokéballs ready to catch them all in this short informational video.
The origin of life on Earth is a very speculated topic. One of the most popular theories around the globe is that life on Earth was created by some almighty and supreme being. That is the main idea of many religions, but each religion explains it in a different way. That's why there are so many religions in the world. Another scientific theory is Darwin's theory of natural selection. The theory states that we evolved from another lower IQ'd organism. His theory also states that life comes from another common ancestor or descendant. These descendants weren't multicelled or advanced organisms. Going back 3 million years when the Earth was beginning to start the forming of the surface, these organisms in which we descended from were single-celled and very minimal. Over time, these single-celled organisms evolved slowly and into diverse and different species, in which modern science has proved this theory collect with countless accounts of evidence. The theory of natural selection shows slow changes throughout different traits, including recessive and dominant traits. So throughout centuries of different generations, the population throughout the world looks different despite coming from the same common ancestor. There are 4 conditions in which natural selection can occur in nature naturally. The first one is trait variation, meaning not only in traits genetically, but it also can arise in population by chance. If it happens to change the population as in hair dye, their offspring will not have the same dyed hair because it's not genetically bonded to their body. The second one is that more organisms are present that can survive, meaning that if every offspring in the world that we produce to survive. The fourth and final condition in which natural selection can occur is when reproduction changes through species. The main way that huge variations happen in a species is caused by these sometimes small changes in habitat and acceptable reproduction.
The reasons for changes in organisms that are classified are very simple. Over time, all organisms are going to change in some way due to many factors. They change because organisms need to adapt to their environment. Sometimes their appearance may be different. Sometimes they adapt to the environment in ways that we can't see physically. For example, the frog starts out with gills and slowly starts to lose its gills. It starts to develop in organisms. It took thousands of years for humans to be able to function. We started and we'll never stop evolving if we have the necessities of natural selection. Yeah. Crossing over in sexual reproduction produces recombinant chromosomes. One offspring could receive recombinant chromosomes from each parent, while other offsprings would receive a completely different recombinant chromosomes from each parent. This is due to the independent assortment which occurs during the metaphase and meiosis phase.
Some distinct characteristics of the many domains and kingdoms go as follows. Phylum, a biological rank below kingdom. Any organism with a vertebrae is said to be part of this classification. Class, a group of or set of common characteristics and traits. Order, a succession or sequence usually arranged in a series. Family, a group of entities that descended from a common ancestor. Genus, a group of entities that are structurally/physically similar. Species, the most basic unit of biological classification. Any living thing falls under this category. Domains, bacteria, microscopic, single-celled organisms. Eukaryote, animals, plants, fungi, and protists are all eukaryotes because they're cells. Organisms are classified into different domains and kingdoms. As scientists advance in research and discover new organisms, they need to organize them based on characteristics ranging from how many cells they have to their economics.
Basic trends in evolution include the brain size going from the size of a chimpanzee's brain to our modern size. When it comes to tools and such, the jaw size has since gotten smaller, and tools have went from simple wood and stone to metal and plastic. Language has since changed significantly in that our language now has words for almost everything, while words were not used in the past and sounds and body signals were used. The fossil record supports the theory of evolution by giving physical samples on creatures and organisms, which in turn can find us a way to link a strand of our DNA to theirs in some shape or way, which also leads us to comparative anatomy, which from the fossil record We can link physical parts and other cellular parts of the organisms to other organisms.
In evolution, there are other mechanisms that cause changes within an organism's evolutionary state other than natural selection. Mutation, genetic drift, migration, and gene flow are some of the other types of change within species that also differ the change. All of these changes work hand in hand with the biggest factor, natural selection, to cause a full adaptation to surroundings that species are in. Mutation is what you commonly refer to as drastic changes in humans giving them superpowers, like the X-Men for instance. On the scientific side of things, mutation is a change in sequence of DNA. It is caused by errors in replication or reproduction of the sequence. This is the most powerful type of genome variation, meaning it causes most change of a species. The change can happen to just a single strand of DNA or a whole sequence. The mutations are very rare because you can only get them in one of two ways. One, you can inherit them from your parents, or they happen to your egg or sperm in your very own. Another mechanism of evolution is genetic drift. Genetic drift is the survival of a species compared to another species. Don't get it? Let me give you an example. Take a red bug and a blue bug. The two parent red bugs have 4 offspring, and so do the blue bugs. 2 of the blue bug's offsprings were killed, and another of them was eaten by a deer. There are going to be more red bugs out there in that generation than there are blue bugs due to the more red bugs surviving than the blue bug. That is what genetic drift is, in a nutshell. It happens to all organisms on Earth, but unlike natural selection, this type of evolutionary change that affects a generation does put the species through an adaptation. Lastly, migration is just as it sounds. When some of a species goes over and mixes with another species' genes, and the first species' genes mixes and becomes more frequent in the second species' genes. I'll give you an example. Let's mess with the red and blue bugs again. Say a blue bug mixes with a red bug. The red bug genotype will get more of the blue bug's genes in its sequence. It will become more and more popular in that gene of the red type to see a mix of blue. It doesn't cause any adaptations to the species and is commonly referred to as gene flow.